Hello and welcome to another episode of Drive-thru Therapy. I'm so glad to have you here. And if you are new, welcome. And if you are not new, welcome. It's great to be back in front of a microphone. Been reflecting on this topic for some time, but I've been traveling a little bit, getting some appointments done and errands done as the summer is starting and the vaccinations are happening everywhere, and it's really allowing people to go back out and do the stuff they needed to do, and that's good. That's really good. I mean, it's been very exciting and functional is the best way to say that. And it's good to be back to record because it's one of those things that I love to do. I think about this, believe me when I tell you, multiple times a day, not as in a nagging feeling, but in a, like it's something is missing if I'm not thinking about what I'm going to record or playing it out in my head, playing around with it. That's all been part of my day since I started this podcast. It's inspirational for me to keep working on it, and it taps into my creativity in a way where maybe not too many things do. So, yeah, all to say, I'm happy to be back. I took my son to the park this morning and he was playing with some kids, and he's an only child, and it's tricky for him to communicate with other children. He feels shy, and usually children, I find, are being paired with their siblings, and they tend to stay there with their siblings and who they know. Especially in parks, right? Not in a school setting, but in parks. And so my son tries really, really hard, but he gets left out. And it really breaks my heart watching this every time, almost every time at a park, because he's such a gentle human being, really, on his own. I mean, that wasn't my input at all. That's just him being allowed to be who he is. You know, that's who he is. He's just a gentle human. But yeah, I think he'll find his way of solving his problems as he comes across them, and he does them very well. Most of the time when it comes to people, he interacts with them in the way he wants to interact with them. In my heart, my instinct is to go save him from a really bad situation. You know, like somebody rejecting him. That's what I mean by bad, you know, not unsafe, but just like I don't know, emotionally just distressing. But that's just part of his growth and part of his journey. If I try to protect a child from any type of suffering, it would be impossible. But if he gets to feel the discomfort and confront it head on without perceiving it a bigger deal than what it is, wonderful. He gets to do that on his own. And he deals with rejection, I think, so far pretty well. He finds his fun, you know. If nobody wants to play with him, he eventually finds his fun. But today was a little sadder than usual. He decided that he just wanted to go. And but he finds his bliss. That's the beautiful thing about my son, and what he teaches me is really that children, human souls, are born with a way, they have a knowing, an inner knowing that tells them where the fun is at and what to do with problems intuitively. And he does that very well. I mean, I can't say that enough, that he taught me that he already knows on the inside what he would like to do with people. He's going to figure it out intuitively. And that system within him works very well. And I want to make sure that shines bright in his world, that he knows what to do in situations, because I won't be around at every situation where he's uncomfortable. He's going to have to deal with it, and he's going to have to trust himself. So in order for him to trust himself, I have to allow the opportunity for him to solve his problems and be there for support, you know? Yeah. All this just to say is that, hey, we all humans have an inner knowing and intuition that can guide us very well if we engage it and strengthen it daily. It'll work for us. It'll tell us where to go for the fun, for the abundance, For the bliss, it'll tell us. For love, it'll tell us where to go. And I truly believe that now, having had the experience of having a son and watching him develop that without me interrupting and imposing my views or projecting my views on him and what I think he should do and how he should live his life. And when he does it beautifully without my help, I'm like, dang, I mean, he's, pretty damn capable. And he's so gentle, a lot gentler than I am. I could get like really mad and hold a grudge, with a kid in a playground. He won't. He'll just be like, whatever. And he'll try to even play with him. I've seen that a couple times where the kid might reject him and he's like, I think you still want to play with me. I'm really fun. And he just keeps after them. And then eventually they play with him. So that sometimes happens too. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to watch that. Yeah. There's a lot of beauty in watching your kids grow. You just learn so much. You learn so much. And I don't remember much about my childhood in some age groups or age period. But it's like I'm living what my childhood could have been like through him. I guess and I love it. And it's seeing him look at something and find it fabulous and really funny. And I may have looked at it, I don't know, thousands of times and never thought of it in a fabulous way or it being funny. But looking through his eyes is just beautiful. It's really beautiful and exciting. It's like reliving a childhood, So, yeah. Wow, Tala. It's when it gets closer to the 4th of July, people, it just gets, I just get so emotional. I love it. All right. So tonight is not, I don't know how to describe this, but I collected some of the phrases that patients have said through the years, variations of them that really, oh my gosh, to me, I found they act as a block, like a subconscious block and a very good brain command for them, but not for the right reasons. So I learned that if I'm saying these following statements or phrases, I really am blocking myself. I'm just doing the most. And I'm going to share them with you today. I think I have like, how many? Maybe 7? 7. And I honestly think you'll find them useful. If you just kind of hear me out on this, these phrases are so common. People say them often, but every time they say them, it's just like they dig in deeper and deeper into their patterns, and it makes it hard for them to change. And I want to make sure that you get a hold of these things. And if you know anybody that needs them, send them this episode because we can all use it. I'm telling you, it just kind of irritates me a little bit when I hear, when I hear a patient saying any of those things that I'm about to tell you. It's just not, I just go ahead and quickly interrupt and make sure that they know what they're saying and what it means about their change. Whatever they said means about their change. I hope that makes sense. All right. So the first thing is probably what got me started on this whole episode anyways, is when anybody says or even attempts to make a decision based on, I feel bad. Oh God. Like that one there, friends, takes the cake, the whole damn bakery. That's the one that does it for me. When somebody says, well, I did it because I felt bad, or I said this because I felt bad. I let them do this because I felt bad. And I'm like, since when is feeling bad a good guiding system for us? Like, in which reality, friends, do we ever want the feeling bad, or another way to say that, feeling guilty? Like, do we need guilt as a way to make decisions? You need to rethink that if you do. Really rethink that, because guilt is not an indicator of the truth. I've never seen that anywhere where the feeling of guilt is an indicator of the truth. Most of the time it means something else altogether. But I want to make sure that you understand guilt, or any form of statement that implies guilt, where you're about to make a decision based on that, does not indicate the truth. So do not say that, like the I feel bad. I need it to make you cringe when you're about to say it. It would be better if you don't say it at all. But let's say it comes out. I want you to hear my voice stopping you. Stop right there, and take that statement back. You don't really need that in your life. That I feel bad and I'm about to make a decision because I feel bad. No. We look at the facts. We look at patterns. The truth may look nothing like guilt, but unfortunately, guilt is very convenient because we're raised, a lot of us, conditioned to feel guilty. And that's, feel guilty. And that's the way we make decisions, like if, our parents ask us, well, why did you do that? Why didn't you clean your room? You should have cleaned your room. I've been working all day. I need you to help me clean the room. So it's like we use guilt to make kids do things. And so unfortunately, that is like a primary conditioning strategies that's been used consistently. And if you tend to have that, please stop it. Stop it. I feel bad. Oh my God. You should feel bad for saying that from here on out. Just feel terrible. Terrible. Okay. If it helps any, feel terrible because it doesn't make sense. Like I feel bad. And that's why I'm going to make a decision like that I'm not going to like myself for later. What? I feel bad. So all reason just jumps out the window. Come on. All right. And I'm just on number 1. Oh goodness. All right. Number 2. This one here, again, this one might take the second bakery, not just the cake, a bakery too. This one here, it says, when people say easier said than done, I don't know why we're stating the obvious. Obviously, it is easier to blurt it out of my mouth than to actually do it and do it with consistency. But when you say that, all you're doing is affirming for your mind or your brain to not change because, damn it, it's easier said than done. And it's an excuse that your brain will just use to not do or not try something again. That's the last thing I want any human being to say, Easier said than done. No shit. Easier said than done. Of course it is. But that's why we want to keep doing it until it gets done. Yeah. Yeah, please don't say the obvious, Captain Obvious. Please don't say it. I need you to stop right there. Hear my voice telling you stop, Captain Obvious. Of course, it's easier said than done. Ask yourself why you would even say that. What are you excusing? What is it that you need to be doing, but you're just saying easier said than done? And usually people give me that in sessions when I'm asking them to change something. A lot of times they'll ask me, well, Tala, how do I think in a peaceful way, for example? And I will tell them, well, they're like, well, easier said than done. Well, no, they already shut it down. Their brain just shuts it down. It's like, yes, it's easy to say it, but to do it, oh God, they already have an opinion formed. And right, when you have an opinion formed about something, it is less likely you're going to do it, especially if it's negative. Especially if it's negative. Okay, I hope you're with me so far because I'm fired up. Okay. The next one is the same kind of the first one. I already did it. Like when I give a strategy, like for example, if I tell people to interrupt their thinking patterns, then they say, well, I already tried that, but then it just didn't work. And I'm like, in my head, and of course to them, because I will not hold it in, they need to know, is that if they already did it, they need to keep doing it. And eventually, when you do it consistently, eventually it'll work. But if you kind of do it and you're expecting like an immediate result, quick gratification, this ain't for you. Change in an interpersonal way is not for you, because change in that way requires us to go through repetitive motions, repetitive thought patterns, or interruptions of thought patterns that can help us change them. This can't just happen by itself. It will not be handed to you like a pill or like I don't know, hit you on top of the head and say, wham, here, you got it. It's an epiphany, burning bush, and there you go. You have it. No, we have to consistently do it. So we just keep doing it. So when you're saying, I already tried that and it didn't work, I already tried that. Well, I don't like the word try at all. Because it just implies like you just need to do it a few times and then you're done, right? I tried. No, I'm not going to give you credit for trying. What I'm going to give you credit for is to keep doing. Well, not really me, but life will give you credit for just doing it. Just keep doing it. They're not going to give you a credit for trying to do it. We're not in elementary school anymore. All right. We're not in elementary school where, Mr. Bushling says, you guys will be fine if you just try. I'll give you A for effort. No. We will actually do it. Life will actually give you credit when you start doing it consistently, continuously, however you want to say that. Well, we just keep doing it. We don't try anymore. We just do it. I tried to do it. No, you didn't. We're just going to keep doing it. Try doesn't make sense for the human brain. Try doesn't make sense. It takes years in the making of the thinking patterns that we have, the emotional patterns that we have, and the behavioral patterns that we have. And if you think that I could just try a couple times and it will take care of and just change what took years in the making, you're wrong. You're wrong. You will be disappointed and you'll give up quickly. So I need you to give yourself that openness and flexibility to keep doing it. Not try, but to keep doing it. Whatever it is that you're wanting to do. Any positive change you want to make within yourself. Any thought patterns you want to interrupt, just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. No more trying. I can't say that enough, but repetition's good. Repetition's good. Oh, the next one. I think I've actually said this next one probably a few times before in different episodes, just depending on probably different context, but the same thing. And basically when people tell me, I don't know, for me, when I'm asking them something about themselves and they say, I don't know, but when I ask them about their mother and how she feels, well, my mom feels blah, 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 blah. And when I do this, she feels this way. And I know she feels this way. And I know that she's thinking this. And I'm like, dang, but I want to ask them, what are you feeling right now? I don't know. What would you like to do right now? I don't know. You seem like you have a problem with this. What do you think the solution is? I don't know. What would make you happy? I don't know. Like that's the I don't know that I never want to hear. Never want to hear, friends. And I'm telling you this because it is very powerful. Basically, it acts as a subconscious block for you to go any further into problem solving, into taking responsibility for emotions. So you end up becoming very helpless to your emotions. And that's where these disorders come from. Depression, anxiety, blah, 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 blah. They come from the same thing, this helplessness to our emotions that I don't know. Listen, about other people's feelings and emotions and thoughts, please say, I don't know. But about you, please never say that. You do know. I don't know who would know if you don't know. You do know about you. And the fact that you keep saying, I don't know to questions about yourself and what you would like to do and what your future is about and what you find great, what you don't find great, and you're saying, I don't know in some of those answers, it's a red flag. It needs to be a red flag to you. It needs to make you cringe. And I need you to engage a different pattern by saying, yes, I do know. So I have a lot of patients that I train when they say, I don't know. I often respond real quickly and say, yes, you do know. And they usually now, they say, yes, I do know. They'll say it right after they say, I don't know. Oh, yes, I do know. And then they'll give me an answer. And that's beautiful because it actually opens up the brain to give you better answers than you used to get from it. So that's what we want. We want your brain to give you this intuitive knowing that I just talked about in the beginning. We want it to give you that. And it can't give you that if you keep saying, I don't know. It's like we're saying it doesn't really work on the inside. Like nothing is really on the inside. And I really don't know. I don't have a GPS system on the inside. Intuition, nothing no consciousness, nothing. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I don't really talk to it. So I don't know. Do you get what I'm saying? Don't say I don't know. Okay. You know, I wish I had coffee, but I'm recording this without coffee. I'm just energetic. I don't know. I don't know how I keep going. I don't know. It's pretty exciting. Okay. The next one is, the next one is when people tell me, they make this up themselves, like this own rule. And if they really look deeper, they find out it's just a rule that they made up or that they bought it into because society made it up. For example, if they tell me as an excuse that I'm either too young or too old for something. And sometimes that's what they come to see me for. Like they'll say, I feel like I'm getting older and I'm too old to go to school, but I really want to. Again, nobody made that rule. Nobody made that rule, except them. Their age does not indicate that somehow you become automatically incapable of meeting your potential. On the contrary, with age, our testosterone level for men, and I think even for women, goes lower. And for women, progesterone and its family also goes down. And what that means is that we become more, how do I put it? Wisdom starts to kick in. So we're not really acting impulsively, aggressively like that. Especially you'll see that mostly in men. If you ever wondered why your grandpa sometimes cries at certain things and you're like, why is he crying? That's why, because the testosterone has dropped and that usually we become more sensitive and more in tune, I think. So there's more benefits to aging than not, I found out. But society, especially in our Western world, we equate beauty with youth pretty strongly. You can't really escape that. You know, when I look at a magazine, I'm not seeing a mature woman on the front cover of Vogue or Cosmo. Maybe Vogue sometimes, yeah. Well, sometimes, yeah. But Cosmo, most certainly not. I don't know, not fashionable enough to put a mature woman on there. So we never really see images that reflect, or messages in our media, in our world around us, that reflect the truth of aging, which is that we are going to age, and there's something there that is beautiful about it and that we must accept. It's part of our human milestone. It can't be bad if it's part of our human milestone. It is all for the highest good. So we want to take advantage of our age, not work against it, not work against it emotionally, is what I really mean. So watch out if you say anything that inhibits you from fulfilling your potential in any area. In any area you want, age would be the perfect ingredient for anything you'd want to accomplish. Not the opposite. Not the opposite. If you are physically becoming immobile, that's okay. That means the other senses are getting stronger because I'm using them more. So a lot of times we used to count on our physical mobility to do things. Now we have to think smarter and not work harder. And there's nothing wrong with that. You see, that's a saying we can live by. You know what I mean? So that's something I would want to replace that with. So we're not too young or too old to do something, especially if I'm too young to accomplish something, whatever that is that you want to accomplish. Again, who made that rule up? You know, you got to look at, could society have it wrong? Have they been wrong before? Yes! Our society had so many other darn beliefs that we all believed, and at one point to be true, and then turns out that it's not true. You know, that's okay. That's part of society. But you, as an individual, have the power to determine whether the belief of society is in alignment with the truth that you want to live, or the truth that you see within you, right? We don't want to take what society says about beauty and make it applicable to you as an individual if it doesn't apply. It doesn't even have to apply. Nothing in the world says it has to apply to you, that you're too old or too young to do something. Absolutely not. No, whoever made that nonsense rule, and now the whole society believes it, and the media sends messages all day long with it. It ain't true. Could it possibly just be wrong? Just wrong, in bad taste, bad judgment. Could it just be that? Yes, absolutely. We don't have to chase it. We don't have to reinforce it. That's the power you have as an individual. Great. Number 6. I hope number 6 and number 7, they're very similar, but they're not similar. So number 6 is when people say, I feel blank, and they think it's real. It's reality. It's the truth. I feel blank, so it must be the truth. For example, I feel like this coworker doesn't like me. Is the feeling, though, an accurate thing to chase? Do we just need to be chasing? Like, I feel it, and it must be this magical thing. And is it really? Is it really? Or is it going to get us in trouble? I mean, it could be possibly an indicator of our low self-esteem, that we must compare ourselves to other people, or we must perceive the thoughts and feelings of other people and think that they are judging us, when in reality we are judging them, judging us. It could be many of those factors, but it all comes down to, please do not believe feelings are real. Feelings are not facts. They're just feelings. They're no more, no less. And they're great to be investigated and confronted, but they are not always to be acted on. And more often than not, I have a lot of people that live in extremes emotionally, and their responses are extreme as well, right? Because of this ingredient of, because I feel something, it must be true. If I feel it, it must be true. So for example, if you've always grown up with a belief that you're not worthy, and I try as a therapist to help you interrupt that thought pattern, working with you to repeat new positive patterns, you will tell me, most often than not, people will tell me back, but I don't feel like it's real when I talk to myself that way. So for example, if I tell them to talk to themselves in a kind way, they'll tell me, I don't feel like that's real. I think it's fake. And I'm like, what you think is fake and what you think is real is based on how much you've repeated it, not because it is the truth. Think about it, friends. Anything that you think is real or fake is because it's been repeated consistently, or you've been exposed to it in your environment often. So if I believed men are not to be trusted, and they're all dogs, men are all dogs, is the common saying people have. Men are dogs. That would come from old beliefs. I grew up around me, possibly seeing men that may not have kept their word, that may have been maybe abusive or aggressive or violent, that may have been absent. They have maybe cheated on their wife or what have you. And I'm the child of that man. I may perceive that men are not to be trusted. And there it is. Not because it's real, not because I know every man in the world and I can tell you that every man is just a scumbag, that's not accurate. So my feeling that men are to be trusted is just not accurate. Let's not believe every belief that we have. Let's question some of those beliefs that give us extreme responses or outcomes, like all and everything, any obsoletes, right? All, everybody, everything, all women are liars and cheaters, and all women want money, and all men are dogs, or whatever we say, right? Anything all or nothing type of statements is just going to be an indicator of the extreme. So feelings are not to be trusted. They usually will lead us to extremes. So what we do with feelings is to acknowledge they're there. Just to acknowledge that they're there, but not to react on them if I know they don't come from an accurate place. So it's just kind of feeling a feeling is a warning sign. It is not an indicator of the truth. Kind of like guilt, not an indicator of the truth. All right. So just keep that in mind. The next one goes with the first one. When people say, I don't feel like doing something, or the motivation, I don't feel like doing it. I don't feel like doing it. Well, there's a problem there. The statement itself says that you have to actually have a feeling in order for you to perceive the urgency in which you need to do something. This will get us in trouble. Can you just see it? I see it. Eventually, it's telling your brain that unless it feels some sort of urgency, it shouldn't be doing it. Like, it just will ignore it. That's why if you are a procrastinator, for example, we tend to do things last minute. More than likely, you have this belief within you that if I feel motivated, then or if I feel like I'm on fire and I'm about to turn in an assignment and it's really due, that's when I start doing stuff. I don't do it before. I have to wait till it's really, really, really bad. Really feeling this either extreme urgency or extreme excitement to do something. Even it doesn't have to be necessarily urgent. It can be, I have to be excited in order for me to do something, like excited in order for me to get an A in class, because that class is just boring and there's no use for me having that class because it's not exciting. I don't feel like doing the work in that class because it's not as exciting. That's not how we want to do. We don't want to be chasing feelings, people. Feelings are, again, not accurate. They're not to be trusted. They are a warning sign, but they're not everything. They're not everything. And I don't know how many times you guys notice this, but every time I'm watching anything on YouTube where a woman, I see it mostly with women, maybe because I watch a lot of women. I don't watch too many men on YouTube. But I often hear them say, I feel like it's going to be a great day. I feel like this thing is really good, or whatever it is that they're reviewing. Like if they're reviewing a potato chip, I feel like it's going to be really good. Or I feel like this is exactly what it should taste like. What? Like we're using feeling words as the truth, like an indicator of the truth. Once again, not to be trusted. And we're saying that statement and everybody's blowing up everywhere with it. I feel. And they're not saying I think this may or may not work. I feel like it's going to work. Like that's really an intuition. Like it's just an intuitive thing with everything that I do. Everything. I don't know about that. As a big believer in intuition, I don't think everybody's in tune with them as we think we are. And certainly if you equate intuitive nudges to actual feelings that we have throughout the day, I think you'll be off, because feelings can come from old thought patterns that produce these extreme feelings that we have throughout the day. Even in the morning, people say, well, I sometimes don't feel like waking up. I don't feel like waking up to go to work. I don't feel like going to work. Again, this is not about chasing a feeling. It's like, okay, I'm going to go to work because I really like my paycheck. I like paying for my car. I like the things that I get to do because I have a paycheck. So I'm going to get up and go to work. I'm not going to negotiate that in my hand, do this mind fuckery that will keep me in bed for a while, or will sabotage my job eventually because people will know that I just call in sick all the time, make sorry excuses. Doesn't work. It doesn't work. We found out it doesn't work. So don't do it. So I don't feel like it is not something to be chased, but we need to look at it. Most of the time, if we don't feel like doing something, it's probably because we're producing a lot of opinions about it. So we eventually will have low motivation towards that thing that we want to do, but we just don't feel like doing it. It's because we already have like thoughts about like, if I want to go do the dishes and I don't feel like doing them, because if I do them, then I have to get up and I have to put my hands in water when I'm so warm and I feel good. And I just don't feel like doing it. It's not about that. Because if I don't do my dishes, more than likely ants will be swarming the next morning and will be like, yeah, I didn't do my dish. I didn't feel like it. So the ants came by and said hi. We don't want none of that. We don't want none of that. So I just get up and do the dishes. I don't really think about whether I need to do them or not, because I know I'll negotiate it, and that negotiation is no good. It's useless, because I just still need to get up and do the dishes. I benefit from doing it more so than not doing it. So my feelings about it, irrelevant. just irrelevant. Yeah. All right, 36 minutes. Man, I'm going all out tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope this was useful. I probably have so many more. These statements act as brain commands. They act as subconscious blocks to becoming and being whatever it is that we want to become and be and actualize. So don't let these statements or any other statements at all that you might say often, but you're like, why do I keep saying that? It just blocks everything for me. It gives me an excuse not to do the thing I'm doing. Then check it. Just check it. Ask yourself, why am I saying that? We can't go this far along in life and think that our beliefs just come out of nowhere. They're just of our own making. No. Most of our beliefs really have been acquired, or all of our beliefs have been really acquired from experiences, from the verbalization of others and the input of others, the influence of others. It may not be our truth. So check to see what your truth is, but I most definitely will not ask you to trust your feelings as an indicator of the truth. The truth a lot of the times are just what is for your highest good. And my feelings and what my feelings want to do may not be for my highest good, may be self-sabotaging. My feelings may be based on old beliefs that I've had and I never checked. So I don't want to be jumping into old beliefs, old systems that's just not working anymore. Just be careful with that. And we want to live a better quality of life every day. And I think removing these statements from your life just going to elevate that quality. And I'm all about that. I say that every time because every time it means the same. It means the same. You deserve a transformation in your lifetime. It is a milestone that we all have the capability of doing, but I didn't say that we all will get there. Transformation or awakening, conscious awakening, spiritual awakenings, any of those really all mean that I stop living off of old dogmatic beliefs and I start living on or responding on new beliefs that I find to be more accurate for my highest good. So if beliefs don't line up for my highest good, if things that I say and things that I think don't line up for my highest good, then I'm going to go ahead and release them. Just release them. You decide to do that. Your brain is that powerful. You just release them. You don't pull them in, think about them over and over again and keep saying them and hope that one day we'll stop saying them. And I don't know how. If you don't intentionally stop saying these things or stop responding on old beliefs, then they will never happen by themselves. You are powerful as a human being to manifest and create things, especially for yourself. Let's do it. Let's start now. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm sending you love and light, and please be kind and gentle to yourselves. This has been an episode of Drive-thru.